So I really didn't want to waste my spring break. I want to voice at least something. So I decided to finally make this video. I don't think I'll be turning this into a proper essay with proper sources and editing and revising and so on. I wrote the script in less than a night, so don't blame me if it's terrible. I decided to spend longer on my essay on dialectic der dialectic enlightenment, because it is after all my magnum opus. So I'm going to read Zizek's interpretation of Lacan's Big Other, then Pedagogy of the Oppressed, and then for fun, Seeing Like a State by James C. Scott. And finally, I'll be done with the fucking script. Then I'll be working on the arts for the visuals, then editing, which will take months. And I'm mentioning all this because this is a shitpost. But that does not mean this essay sucks. Authenticity of the queer turned out better than I thought, you know? I was just fucking writing what's on my mind, and yeah, obviously. I've been wanting to write this essay for a long time. In fact, this is my second attempt. I've seen many great videos from queer content creators, and Alexander Villa's recent video, I guess, pushed me over the edge. So now I'm here now. So yeah. Although I'm not queer myself, I can see the allure of queerness as an embrace of what is human. In today's society, even intimate art like this video is mere spectacle, a mere escape from what is real. We hide behind media, culture, and productivity. We talk about movies, projects we're working on, and hide behind a thousand layers of irony. We label others as trans or gay to prevent the terrifying idea of understanding another person. It is easy to bridge our atomized and alienated selves with things out there, with things that can be interpreted by any human, such as films, songs, and concepts. It is difficult to bridge a gap with genuine human connection. After a tough day at work or at school, it is easier to lay down and simulate human connection, like what you're doing right now. In an age of suburban hell and isolated methods of transportation, the age of the commodification of human connection through surface level appearances and social media, every socializing place, whether physical or virtual, and even the university, which is typically a site of political action, now requires payments. Payments in the form of ads, personal information, and also, of course, plain money. An age where the living conditions are just barely tolerable, so that the people don't start a revolution and instead retreat back into the easiness of living everyday life. We know the internet is alienating, yet there is no alternative. We are in an era where it's normal to parody our absurd existence in comedy, displaying a helplessness that is typical of first worlders that simply want reforms and not revolution. We are in an era where every corner turned reveals a new form of dehumanization. Whether it be dehumanization that comes in the form of the individual, such as prejudice, or in the form of institutions, such as education. Everywhere under the sun, humans are treated as mere means to an end, or not existing at all. Everything human now inhuman. Every philosophy now a caricature, because nobody actually wants to read Camus, rather, they want to believe what he represents, which is a deranged and mutated form of religious self-help. People want the appearance and spectacle of Nietzsche, which is the embracing of the capitalistic human. Embracing the human now merely consists of finding meaning, which to the people of Twitter is simply a synonym for happiness, not anything subversive. What is real, now determined by whatever the masses want it to be, served on a silver platter by capitalism to everyone and everything in response to the demand. Totalitarianism through democracy, through the absolutism of the process. This is the society we live in, and it is necessary to understand all of that in order to understand the authenticity of the queer. However, rather than mere sexuality, I'm more referring to the queer that is only queer because they reject categorization. No, I'm not referring to the woke liberals who co-opted queerness in order to serve the spectacle and appearance of subversion. Obviously, the non-gender conforming Starbucks worker is not a revolutionary. They are, in their essence, merely venting out frustrations in a cringe plus ratio fashion. They are alienated and unable to understand or cope with that reality, instead merely retreating back to enforcing the system, as that path is far easier and more accessible. No, rather, the authenticity of the queer is the decision to become human despite our lack of choice in the matter. It is, in a sense, an artist without the ability to make art. Humanity without autonomy, absurd indeed. And that is the point of it, reflecting the absurdity of life. The queer is an absurd, self-contradictory concept that makes sense simultaneously. And that's what makes it revolutionary. It is revolutionary because it constructs within the human a reality beyond capitalism, yet simultaneously acknowledges itself as capitalistic. The queer lives in rebellion precisely because it cannot escape passivity and yet does anyway. The ultimate expression of humanity. I particularly want to exemplify the internet phenomenon which is known as the Femboy. In my view, for straight people like me at least, the femboy is an embodiment of intimacy, the kind that many fail to realize in their restless striving, in their everyday mundanity. The femboy states the obvious, which is also at the same time obscured. They put into the spotlight the fact that we have been violently separated from the real of our inner humanity. They are an ideal which the cis male cannot bring themselves to admit directly without internet culture, because our humanity is obscured by overall culture. The femboy is a phenomenon on the internet because it represents escape while still within the confines of ideology. Intimacy without real intimacy, yet still a form of real intimacy, i.e., it represents a sort of hope, I guess you could say. Here, let me put it into concrete terms. When one sees a feminine male, in their mind, right, that person is more connected to their real humanity, since the outward appearance displays an abnormality, a rebellious abnormality. The best way to describe it, though in a very vulgar manner, is publicly admitting a fetish, like Pyrocynical did. However, this is not actual liberation, obviously. This is more symbolic. A symbolic unraveling of the board's spectacle through the board's spectacle. You are not subverting by only relying on surface level appearances. The authenticity of the queer is an intimacy in a world of inhumanity and thus void of intimacy. The queer is the understanding of humans in of themselves. Queerness does not consist of black and white categories. It is a gradation. That is to say, we live in an ever-flowing state. The queer, in this sense, is the acknowledgement that many humans will pass you as you walk on the streets, as the world flows by. Queerness is the acknowledgement of all others as also a part of you, your humanity, despite all the inhumanity. In layman's terms, once you're not constrained by cisgender ideology, you begin to love all. That is my belief. And just to reiterate, I'm not telling you to be annoying woke liberal piece of shit. I'm telling you to start the revolution one by one. Gender in of itself doesn't really do anything other than make you a bit more happy for a brief while. Gender in itself would be a mere commodity and desire, perhaps even Lacanian in that obscures the real. Gender should be a style of living that must inherently oppose the current capitalist superstructure. Basically, be human and be revolutionarily so. I think once my magnum opus comes out, I think these concepts would be more understandable, hopefully. Yeah, okay. Actually, shut the fuck up, man. I need to shut the fuck up. I need to go sleep.